Peer-to-peer lending is a broad church encompassing consumer, business and property finance. We ask our industry experts which sector they think has the most potential for growth.
What was really interesting in watching the market grow over the last couple of years was the fairly sudden arrival and upsurge of the property market. You know, we're a property nation. You know, we love bricks and mortar perhaps more than anyone else. And with changes in tax affecting buy-to-let, which would be a common additional investment for sort of mass affluent and above, it's been a really sort of killer sector. I think people like real things, tangible things, things you can kick. And that's why things from property to energy to care homes to nurseries are taking off to such an extent now. So I would look at tangible asset-backed lending as perhaps the most mainstream area for peer-to-peer in the years to come.
The peer-to-peer lending sector is already quite diversified, and there are an awful lot of segments already out there, whether that's business, consumer, secured, unsecured, property. There's an array out there in terms of business models. I think what we're really seeing is that actually at the moment none of those businesses are reaching a scale where just through their core business model they're able to reach the growth and the level of profitability that they need to. So therefore I think probably the segment that's going to be the most exciting is maybe one that we haven't seen yet. It's one where there are going to be some extra innovations brought in, perhaps some side services that are being sold to their lenders and to their borrowers.
I think there's a number of factors. Susie, number one, the track record ain't great. Nobody's really making serious money out of this yet, although you've got unicorns like Funding Circle. You've got On Deck, you've got Lending Club, you've got Rate Setter losing 80 million. You've got some real horror stories of people who, you know, set out to do this and ended up doing that. You've got an environment that's getting more competitive. Zopa applies for a banking license. Gee, why? Is it maybe because the banks are catching up a little? Deloitte writes a report that says mainly the giant banks are going to swallow up the best of these guys. It's kind of like ICOs. It's kind of like token and cryptocurrency business where it's all the Wild West. It's a completely insane world, but one day Goldman Sachs is going to buy the three best ones. They probably already have their ICO issuing department set up. Some 6 months ago, the number of ICOs exceeded the number of IPOs that month in the world. More coins, more tokens were issued than initial public offerings raised in money. So the best of these are going to be creamed off, and that's what's going to happen here. So you've got Funding Circles or unicorns, it's worth $1 billion. Green Sky in America is $4.5 billion. Lufax in China is $18.5 billion market value for a peer-to-peer lender. So these guys have grown, and I think the fact that they're doing IPOs and getting quoted, getting listed now is because they're getting ready for an exit. So I think a number of people are going to make an awful lot of money from building these up and exiting them. But whether I do not think this industry is going to take over banking. I don't think it's going to grow that far. I think there's certainly going to be consolidation. I think there's going to be some losses all over the place. People snapped up, some growth. But yeah, I think the banks will buy the best ones is where it's going. I see some growth, not huge growth. And I think where the growth could come is in the ones that are marketplace lenders, depending on their IT and how efficient they are. They could grow big. They could become conduits for institutional money and make life, as they do already, much easier for borrowers than going to the bank, and they could build a really big industry out of that. So marketplace lending, yeah. Marketplace lending with the peer-to-peer individual punters thrown in, sure. But very basic Susie and Roger putting their cash in, and that's it, and then finding, Bill and Bob to lend it to, I don't see that being a hugely scalable industry.
I think all of the sectors are important for building a balanced portfolio. So I think you do want to include consumer loans together with SME loans, together with asset-backed loans. In terms of growth, I think we want to see growth in all of the areas, but as we know, property is still growing very, very quickly. And there's still, I think, a lot of potential for property and asset-backed lending.